Elias lived a life measured by the slow, steady tick-tock of time. He was the town's watchmaker, a quiet, solitary man whose workshop was a sanctuary of intricate gears, polished brass, and the faint, constant rhythm of countless clocks. His hands, though gnarled with age, still possessed a remarkable delicacy, capable of coaxing life back into mechanisms that had fallen silent. Yet, for all his ability to mend timepieces, he could not mend his own broken past. His eyes held a deep, settled sadness, a quiet melancholy that was as much a part of his workshop's atmosphere as the smell of oil and metal. Elias had not always been so alone. Decades ago, the silence of his workshop had been broken by the bright laughter of Lily. She was a young woman from the village, full of life and curiosity, fascinated by his craft. She wasn't like the others, who saw him only as the quiet man who fixed clocks. Lily saw the artistry, the dedication, the silent poetry in his work. Their connection was unexpected, a gentle melody in Elias's otherwise muted existence. He, reserved and years her senior, fell quietly, deeply in love with her vibrant spirit. Lily, restless and dreaming of a world beyond their small town, eventually received an opportunity to study in a distant city. The news was a bittersweet pang in Elias's heart. He wanted her to soar, but dreaded her leaving. He wasn't a man of grand gestures or eloquent words. He decided to create something that would speak his heart for him. For weeks, he poured all his skill and hidden emotion into a single project, a music box. Not just any music box, but one crafted from rare, beautiful wood, inlaid with mother-of-pearl depicting the wildflowers they loved, and containing a complex mechanism that played a tune only they shared, a simple folk melody she often hummed. Inside, he carefully engraved a message. Time may pass, distance may grow, but my heart ticks only for you. Wait for me. It was his silent promise, his declaration of enduring love, his plea for her patience. He finished it the day before she was due to leave. His heart pounded with a mixture of hope and fear. He couldn't bring himself to give it to her directly. He was too shy, too afraid of rejection. Instead, he decided to entrust it to someone he thought he could rely on. Among the villagers was a man named Silas. Silas was known for being outwardly friendly but inwardly resentful of anyone who seemed different or received attention he craved. He also harbored a secret, petty jealousy of Elias's respected craft, often mocking it as futile tinkering with old junk. Silas, noticing Elias's nervousness, offered to deliver the gift for him, assuring him he was going directly to Lily's house anyway. Elias, desperate and trusting Silas's false hardiness, reluctantly agreed, handing him the precious music box. This was the first fatal accident, Elias's misplaced trust in a man whose true character he failed to perceive. Silas took the music box. As he walked, his initial false goodwill turned sour. He looked at the small wooden box, feeling a surge of resentment. A music box? He scoffed internally. What use is this sentimental nonsense? Lily needs practical things for the city, not old-fashioned trinkets from this dusty watchmaker. He convinced himself that the gift was insignificant, perhaps even embarrassing. Then came the second, tragic accident. On his way to Lily's, Silas ran into a traveling merchant he owed money to. To quickly appease the merchant and distract him, Silas impulsively handed him the music box, claiming it was a payment for a small debt. The merchant, seeing a finely made box, accepted it without question, its true value or purpose unknown to him. Lily left the next day, heartbroken that Elias hadn't come to see her off and hadn't sent her a single word or token, not even a note. She interpreted his silence, his lack of a farewell gift, as indifference. She thought his earlier kindness was perhaps just pity or fleeting interest. Her dreams of their shared future crumbled. Elias waited for a reply, for some acknowledgement of the music box and its message. He received nothing. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months. He sent a cautious letter, but it too went unanswered. He concluded, with devastating certainty, that Lily had received the music box, understood his feelings, and had simply rejected him, finding his quiet love and simple gift unworthy of a response in her exciting new life. His heart, like a delicate mechanism, stopped ticking with hope. He retreated further into his solitude. The tick-tock of the clocks, a constant reminder of the time passing, the future lost. He never sought love again. Lily, wounded by what she perceived as Elias's abandonment, built a life for herself in the city, achieving success but always carrying a hidden sadness, a sense of a connection lost, a question mark over a past love. Décades passed. The town changed, but Elias's workshop remained, a relic of an earlier time. His hair turned white, his movements slower, but his hands still worked on the clocks, his life a loop of lonely routine. Then, one rainy afternoon, a young woman, the granddaughter of the traveling merchant Silas, had paid off years ago, visited the town. She had inherited some of her grandfather's old things, including a peculiar, beautiful music box he had acquired long ago. It didn't work. Its mechanism was stuck. Hearing about the old watchmaker, she brought it to Elias's workshop. Elias took the music box. His hands, familiar with countless mechanisms, immediately recognized the quality of the craftsmanship. But as he examined the wood, the inlay, and the specific design, his breath caught. It was his music box, the one he had made for Lily. His heart began to race with a speed it hadn't known in 40 years. He carefully opened it, his fingers tracing the faint engraving inside. Time may pass, distance may grow, but my heart ticks only for you. Wait for me. He saw the stuck mechanism and, with trembling hands, set about repairing it. It took time, his eyes blurring with unshed tears. Finally, he wound it gently. The first notes filled the silent workshop, the simple folk melody, Lily's tune. The young woman watched, confused. It was broken for years, she said. My grandfather said he got it from some man in this town, decades ago, for a small debt. Elias barely heard her. The truth, raw and brutal, hit him with the force of a physical blow. Silas. The merchant. The debt. The music box never reached Lily. It wasn't rejection. It was an accident. A cruel twist of fate orchestrated by a petty man's carelessness and a simple, mundane transaction. 40 years of solitude, of heartache, of believing he wasn't loved enough to be waited for. All because his message, his heart, was traded away like a forgotten trinket. He tracked Lily down. It took time. Cautionary tale, not of the river's curse, but of the destructive power of blind superstition and the tragedy of kindness lost in a world unwilling to see certain paths. He found her, an older woman now, living a quiet life in the city, her eyes still holding a flicker of the brightness he remembered, but tinged with a sadness that mirrored his own. He told her about the music box, about Silas, about the merchant. He described the engraving, the tune. Lily listened, her face turning pale. Tears streamed down her cheeks as she realized. You did send something, she whispered, her voice trembling. You didn't just let me go. I waited, for weeks, for a sign. When nothing came, I thought. Her voice broke. I thought you didn't care enough to send even a note. They sat together, two people whose lives had been shaped, broken, and lived apart by a simple, accidental transaction involving a music box intended to carry a message of love across distance. The carefully crafted symbol of Elias's heart, meant to be their bridge, had become the instrument of their permanent separation. There was no happy reunion, no possibility of reclaiming the lost years. Too much had happened. Too many other lives were now intertwined with theirs. The moment of their connection, their possibility, had been tragically missed, rerouted by a casual act of indifference and an unexpected exchange. Elias returned to his workshop. The tick-tock of the clocks now sounded different. They no longer just marked time. They echoed the 40 years that were stolen, the love that was lost not through lack of feeling, but through a cruel, accidental twist of fate and the petty meanness of another man. He kept the music box, finally repaired, playing its sad, sweet melody in the quiet hours, a poignant, pathetic reminder of the love that was always there, but simply, tragically, never arrived. His life remained solitary, but now the sadness had a name, a face, and a devastating story. The story of the music box that never reached its destination, and the hearts that stopped waiting because a message of enduring love got lost along the way.